Hey gang, I'm Rick with Let's Level Up, and today on the table we have Welcome to the Dungeon from iEllo. Now this is a game for 2 to 4 players, takes about a half hour to play, and for ages 10 and up. I will like to make a quick caveat. I've played this with my son who's about 6 years old, and it took him a couple turns, but he's actually making intelligent decisions and playing the game. Maybe not as quite as competitively as some adults play, but he's definitely in the game. So thematically, I don't see any reason why this game couldn't be for ages 6 and up, or maybe 8 and up, maybe better. But I really like this game for a family, and I think if you've got young children, this is a great game to get on the table and play with them. Welcome to the Dungeon is actually a really cool pressure luck game. In it, we're actually going to be bidding with one another, raising the stakes with every card that is played to potentially take an adventurer through this dungeon. If we're successful, we get all the glory. If we fail, we take a hit. If we take 2 hits, we are actually out of the game completely. If we get 2 successes, we actually win the game. So there's no more rounds after that. You either win the game by getting 2 successes or be the last person standing. So a typical game of Welcome to the Dungeon is going to work like I'm going to draw a card in the dungeon. I'm going to choose either put it in the dungeon or place it in front of me. If I decide to place it in front of me, I'm going to remove one of our precious items that we have for our characters. The adventurer is only going to be able to take within him to the dungeon with them with how many ever items they have left on the table, which may not be any. At any point in the game, you can decide to say I'm out, at the beginning of your turn, you can say I'm out, and the last person who's left in the round is going to be the one who's going to take the adventurer through. So let's hit the table with Welcome to the Dungeon, show you a bit of how it's played and how to set it up, and then after that, give you our final thoughts. So here we have Welcome to the Dungeon unboxed, and as you can see, we've got a couple key components here. Every player is going to get a hit card here. We've got glory to the winners if they actually pass to the dungeon okay. And there's going to be a dungeon deck, and finally 4 different warriors, each with 6 items. So when we take a look at the actual hit card, you can see a couple things here. There's actually the amount of monsters that are in the dungeon deck. So you can see monsters 1 through 5 there are 2 copies of, but monsters 6, 7, and 9 there are only 1 copy of. And there also shows you the appropriate equipment that it's going to take in order to defeat that monster. That being said, each adventurer has its own unique equipment. So the barbarian can potentially get involved in an altercation where he cannot win, depending on what monster type it is. Not every hero is going to have a solution for every monster, which I think is really interesting in the way the mechanics work. So to play the game, you give every player one of these hit cards, and then on that player's turn, they're going to take a look at the top card in the dungeon deck. So here we have a goblin, and the goblin is a 1-point creature, and it takes a torch. Now they're going to either add that to the dungeon or place that in front of them, taking it out of the round. Now when they place it in front of them, what they're going to have to do is take one of the individual adventurer's equipment and remove it from the round. That adventurer will not be able to take that equipment with them on the round. So for instance, in this case, if we were to put that goblin in front of us and remove the torch icon, and then remove the barbarian's torch, well, that barbarian is not going to be able to defeat anything that requires a torch in order to succeed. And they're going to take damage equal to that. So to get a better understanding of it, let's take a look at the rogue, and let's take a look at the rogue's abilities. The rogue's equipment. So here we have a rogue. She has a vorpal dagger, mithril armor, a buckler, a healing potion, an invisibility cloak, and a ring of power. Okay, so the mithril armor and the buckler each only provide hit points. So she has a starting hit points of 3, but with the armor and the buckler, she's going to go up to 11 total hit points, which means she can not succeed on 11 hit points worth of damage, depending on the monster. So in the case of our goblin here, if this goblin is undefeated, it's actually going to be 1 point of damage from us. Her vorpal dagger is going to defeat 1 monster that you choose before entering the dungeon. So basically, the cards are all laid out, and then you say, "Hey, when I fight the dragon, I want to be able to defeat the dragon." And when that dragon comes up, if it does, you'll be able to defeat them. The invisibility cloak defeats monsters with strength 6 or more. The ring of power says defeat monsters with strength 2 or less, and then add their total strength to your HP with the ring of power, which is really, really important. You'd be able to defeat the skeletons and the goblins whenever you are talking about the actual individual monsters. And then the healing potion. It says when you die, you can use the healing potion to come back to your total HP value. So, as we're playing the game, and let's get a little wider here, the starting player is going to take a card, and they're going to say, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and fight that thing in the dungeon. The next player will take a card and secret look at it and say, yeah, we'll go ahead and fight that thing in the dungeon. This guy here shows a vampire, and the vampire takes a goblet, and they're going to say, you know what, no, we're not going to add this to the dungeon. I'm going to go ahead and take away the invisibility cloak as well. So now our rogue just got quite a bit weaker. And remember, this information that's right here in this dungeon deck, it's only known to the person who put the card there. So this player has no idea what these two cards are, and this player has no idea what's going on yet. So you know what, this player is going to say, no thanks, I'm out of the run. So now there's only 3 players left. So it's going to keep going until there's only 1. He's going to go ahead and add that to the pile. And then our player here has got a goblin. And you know what? Maybe he's going to try to make it so it's really difficult. So the goblin, he's going to say no thanks. And we're going to take out the mithril dagger, or the vorpal dagger as well. Finally, this player here is going to go ahead and add the dragon to the pile. And the dragon, since we no longer have the cloak, and we no longer have the dagger, the dragon is going to be impossible to defeat for us, which means it's going to deal 9 points of damage to whoever goes in here. So this player here is going to go ahead and see, okay, we've got this guy. No, you know what, we're going to go ahead and add him to the dungeon. This player is going to bow out, this guy is going to bow out, and then this person is left to go on the dungeon. So in order to go on the dungeon, you basically just flip these cards over and see which ones you're actually going to be able to defeat. So this right here is 6 points of damage. That's 15 points of damage. That's already, we're out of the running. And then the rest of these guys can get defeated here. So we pop our potion to bring us back to 3, and then this vampire will come in and take us out completely. When you get taken out, you flip your card over to the red side. If you lose a dungeon encounter and your red side up, you're actually going to lose the entire game, and you'll be out of the game. If you're successful, you'll get one of these success cards. If you get 2 success cards, you're going to succeed. So every hero has its own unique abilities and own unique equipment, and this game's going to be a really fast-paced, super aggressive game. And that's a quick rundown.
Well, that's it for Welcome to the Dungeon. I really enjoy Welcome to the Dungeon. It was such a pleasant surprise when I found it on Cool Stuff. What a great game for families. What a great pressure luck game. It's really easy to play. It's easy to teach. You can actually play it very quickly, so it's a great filler game. And it's one that you can get a lot of different people involved in because it's so simple. It's also competitive enough to make it compelling, to make you want to play it as a group. And I think that's something that's really, really important with the game. 1, is it fun? Absolutely. And 2, is it fun enough to make me want to play it over some of the other games that are out there? And I think so. It's new enough right now that I think this Welcome to the Dungeon for my family is hitting the table quite a bit. And I want to know if it is for yours as well. So if so, hit me up on Twitter at Let's Level Up or comment below and let me know what you think of Welcome to the Dungeon. I think iEllo has a really good hit on their hands, but again, most of iEllo's games are hits for most people. Or I think for their niche group of people. They're a huge name in family games, and I think Welcome to the Dungeon is just another one on the shelf. It's a very cheap game. It's very quick to play, very easy to play, and I think it's one that is definitely worth your time. So check it out. I think it's awesome. And again, if you do too, let me know. If you don't, let me know. I'd like to talk to you guys about it. Again, hit me up on Twitter or the comment section. Either one works. And I try to respond to everybody. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell your friends, because that means the world to us. And most importantly, until next time, game on.